everybody. I am Drama Troll, aka David. As you, if you're familiar with my channel, you've been following me for a while. We started Paranormal Express. It's somehow come under new people have taken it over, and they're doing perfectly fine with it. How they're doing it, but I am David. I'm, co-founder of Paranormal Hive. And I'll let the other two introduce themselves. Down below is my co-founder, and off to the side here is his son. How are you, Just a Donut Dad and Dell? We will. I'll be watching chat. I think Steven and Lee are watching my stream as well on their phones or whatever, so they should be able to see chat. But like I said, I'm gonna let them introduce themselves, and we will get into our topic. So, Steven, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Stephen. I'm the founder or co-founder of Paranormal Hive, and it's great to be back doing some podcasting. That's I've been wanting to do for a while. I had to change the name today, which a bit of a stress because I found out there was already the Hive, which is what we were originally going to do. But may as well just keep it simple. It was just Paranormal Hive podcast. So decided on the Black-Eyed Children. I know we've covered this previously on older podcasts with Paranormal Express. Just thought it'd be something interesting to get back into for this. So I did look online. I didn't see anything too recent on this, but of what I can tell. So let me just read what I have found here. So first, it appeared in Cannock Chase. I'll just give you a quick background on that. So Cannock Chase is a local government district of Staffordshire in England. It's a council based in the town of Cannock and other notable towns. Rugley, Bridgetown and Hendonsford. The district covers a large part of the Cannock Chase area of outstanding natural beauty, from which it takes its name. The black-eyed child has reportedly been spotted by a young couple while camping at a Cannock Chase. The couple claimed a giggly, ghostly girl encircled their tent before moving in ways humans simply cannot move to hide behind trees. While some of the sightings are not real, others believe she is the tormented soul of a young girl who was murdered in the area during the 1960s. There have been sightings of her reported in Staffordshire Forest since 1980. So it goes back a little bit further to what's kind of recently, because it goes on to say that, that Kyle and Ben say they saw a ghoul in Birches Valley during the summer of 2021, which is the most recent one that I could find. So unless there's more and I haven't come across it. The coronavirus pandemic had kept the two teenagers, whose names have been changed to protect their identity, apart. So they decided to steal a night away together and camp illegally in the middle of the forest. But as they told, so this was told to an author, Lee Brickley, and it's something that a decision that they would soon live to regret on there. So if you have a look online, it does go on back from 2021, but further on from 1980-ish. So it goes on that most sources indicate the legend originated from 1996, posted written by a Texas reporter, Brian Bethel, on a ghost-related mailing list relating to two alleged encounters with the black-eyed kids. Bethel describes the encountering two such children in, I think it's Abilene, Texas, in 1996, and claims that a second person had a similar, unrelated.
Yeah, that's so going in with that whole Bethel story. That's what brought the whole Black-Eyed Children urban legend to the States, I think. is that's the first time that hey, this is kind of weird, and this happened to a reporter, and it was Albany, Texas, which is about 180 miles west of Dallas. So he goes to say, and like you were saying, so in 96, late one night in 96, journalist Brian Bethel was waiting in his parked car just outside a movie theater when two young boys walked up and asked for a ride home. So David Weatherly, the author of The Black-Eyed Children, goes to quote saying that Bethel was nervous initially at the approach of these children, and he wasn't sure why. And that's a common thing. So you get that weird feeling. So he estimated their ages to be somewhere between 10 and 14. And they began to speak in a very strange manner, sorry. So one of the common things with the Black-Eyed Children, like I just said, was, they, with all the stories that I've seen, I'm sure you'd agree, is they go on about how they feel weird or compelled to do something, and that's one of the things that go along with the Black-Eyed Children, is that weird feeling and all that. But I've got a couple different ones. Like I said, the earliest in the United States being the 96 of Brian Bethel. Some of the other accounts I've seen, like in the book The Ancient Alien Theory, Part 6, one of the questions that they pose is and the Star Children is something, like, I'm going to preface this with saying that we can probably talk about the Star Children and all that encompasses later on, because that's a big thing too. But is it possible, as ancient astronaut theorists suggest, that these strange beings, being the Black-Eyed Children, are Star Children with evil intentions? But going back to Bethel, sorry, I know we're jumping around here a little bit, but going back to Bethel, he documented his account on the internet, like you said, and soon others were posting similar encounters with these so-called black-eyed kids. So Nick Redfern, he's a pretty big author, if you know who he is. He does Memoirs of Monster Hunter, The Real Men in Black, Final Events, The World's Weirdest Places, Close Encounters of the Fatal Kind. He goes to say, since publicity has been given to this phenomena, other people have come forward who talked about their sightings and encounters in the 40s and the 50s. And we're not really sure when it all actually began overall, but like you were saying back with the one place there.
Yeah, back in England, in Cannock Chase.
Yep.
It seems to be originated from there. So how it goes from, it seems to be just in that one area. But I think the internet has a lot to do with things. So of course, maybe the Black-Eyed Children, if they're a real thing, could have already been, there's just like name put to it, or people too afraid to come forward, and then you had this in Cannock Chase in England. But if I remember correctly, I remember when I was a teenager, I was getting these paranormal magazines, and I read about black-eyed children, but not just in Cannock Chase. There was other places in England too, and I couldn't really find anything on that. But Cannock Chase is the larger one. But I think in the process of the internet, and the black-eyed children have come into fruition of being something, whether it's real or not. Anyway, whether they're like paranormal ghost beings, that I don't know. Could it be terrestrial, or are they thrown out there? It could be like a time travel kind of thing going on there. So there's a mixture, right, I think, of like mythologies going on.
And that seems to happen with the internet in general too. Like, people are saying that the Black-Eyed Children was that first main creepypasta thing. So, now we have a bunch of other ones, and it's just like so many of them. But Lee, you what do you? I know the last time we talked about the Black-Eyed Children, and if you want to see that chat, go back to YouTube and look up Paranormal High or Paranormal Express episode 2, Black-Eyed Children. We talked about it then. I guess what we should do too is describe what they look like to an extent. So author Nick Redford goes to say, once again, this is a pretty well-renowned author. He goes, they have these jet black solid eyes, hence the name. They look very, very creepy and weird, almost pale, like. So, Coast to Coast AM radio host George Norrie said, it's reported that the Black-Eyed Children 2 may be hybrids, but they're a little more evil than the normal Star Children that we're accustomed to. So, like I said, we can talk about Star Children on a different episode, but the Black-Eyed Children, Lee, what are you thinking there? I know you and your theories are always good to hear.
Aliens. No, I find it very creepy. Aren't they not supposed to go into your house unless you invite them in?
Right. So that's one of the things is, I've read stories where they go up to people's houses, knock on the door, and they ask, hey, can I come in to use your phone? We need to get home. Ours is dead, that kind of thing.
For some help or something.
Right. And they'll use that ploy of needing help, but then the people that help them, we've never heard a what happens if you help them kind of thing. All these stories we've heard are from people who denied them that access and basically shut them out because this is weird. Whereas we don't hear stories of what happened to those people that did help them, which is kind of weird in its own self. But yeah, they're kind of like that vampire-esque thing where they have to have permission to enter.
Yeah, I think if I was in the countryside, for instance, far saying, if I was in the countryside, and I definitely wouldn't open the door. If a couple of kids come knocking on the door and I can't see their eyes, they're like, nope, not sure what's going on there, but they ain't coming in.
Well, I mean, I would go out. I'd open the door. But what the hell are you doing here?
Would you let them in, though? I mean, that's the thing.
Probably not. I mean, it's a child. Your instinct is to say yes.
Right, and they use that.
You wouldn't be thinking to look at their eyes. So hold up, before I let you in, let's have a look at your eyeballs. How weird's that?
I mean, being a paranormal investigator like we are, and if some random kid walks up to your house and knocks on the door, it's like, hey, I'm not going to show you my face, but could I come in? Like, no, whoa.
Yeah, but what would you say? How would you explain that to someone that wouldn't be thinking like a paranormal investigator?
I mean, yeah,
Like if it's just a typical person outside, not outside, a normal person that doesn't do this sort of thing,
right.
how would you say, how would you go about it? You know?
And that's the age-old question. How do you know? And what happens to those people that do let them in? So,
Well, we don't know, do we?
right, we don't. And that's the thing.
You're dead. Sorry, mate.
Who knows? You either, like I said, we haven't heard stories of what happens to those people that do let them in. So I found
Right.
something from BBC News school report from Little Over Community School. And the article, it's like says, what is a black-eyed child? And it goes on to say, hey, Melvos, how are you? It goes on to say, a black-eyed child is an urban legend of a supposed paranormal creature that resembles children between the ages of 6 and 16, with pale skin and black eyes, who are reported seen hitchhiking or encountered on doorsteps of residential homes. They are sometimes called BEC, which stands for black-eyed kids. It goes on to ask, why are they so different to us? Black is not a natural eye coloration at all. The white part of the
Cool
human...
one for sure.
What's that?
It's a cool one for sure.
Oh, yeah. Oh, 100%. The white part of the human eye, called the sclera, and it's compromised 5/6 of the surface of the eye. Every healthy person, regardless of race, has a white sclera. Animals, on the other hand, have very dark ones, like horses, dogs, and lizards. They have black sclera. People with health problems can sometimes have a yellow sclera, and certain medication like yellow drops can result in sclera becoming transparent. People who have met black-eyed humans say these individuals have solid black eyes with no sclera at all. So basically, like the Greys with their giant black eyes.
I'm saying. I said aliens right from the get-go.
You did. So black-eyed children, what do they do? So over the last 20 years, this article goes on to say, people said that they have encountered black-eyed children, and all the stories sound the same. A child will come up to the door or your car window and ask for help. The second they come up, you feel scared, and it will feel like they have power over you, like they're manipulating you. They usually wear dark clothes and might wear a hooded sweatshirt, and maybe they will be with a black-eyed friend / sibling. First, they ask for a request, such as something, or to come in and maybe wanted to make a call, like I said. And if you say no, they'll come back to you with threats, such as like, you have to let me in, or they will say, please, I need to call someone. People who have dealt with these have said they start to help without them wanting to. For example, they will start to open the door a little bit more, or if they're in a car, they'll roll down the window a little bit more. It's almost as if the child or children are making them do it with their mind, but the last second before they do anything, the child would either lift their hand or take their hood off and show them their eyes. After they've seen their eyes, the black-eyed kids, seen the black eyes, they would slam the door shut, or if they're in the car, they roll the window up. So these people that you hear have encountered them are those smart people who, either shut the door or roll the window up. Because, like I said, we don't know what happens to those people who don't. But where was the other? I had another question posed too from the ancient alien theory. Again, I read a little bit further earlier, and the question is, could the black-eyed kids actually be extraterrestrials in a limbo state between dimensions? And might these childlike beings be part of a much larger otherworldly agenda? Ancient astronaut theorists say yes and point to the hungry ghosts of Thailand as proof. Now, I'm not sure about the hungry ghosts of Thailand, but going back to the earlier questions of could they be extraterrestrial in a limbo state between dimensions, and are they part of a larger otherworldly agenda? What do you think on that, Stephen?
It's hard to think whether they could be like alien type beings. It's kind of like being in purgatory, isn't it? Really, for that, right. For it to be like that.
And that's what they're after.
So is it really that? So I wouldn't really know why they would be like knocking on the doors. It's kind of weird, isn't it, to be doing that? A lot of people who have been abducted get abducted from their homes too. So could they be scouting? Is it that type of thing? Are they in that type of purgatory kind of state? And are they hybrids of some kind? Some freak type of experiment that was going on between the aliens and the abductees. They hear these things going on. Stories by these abductees and other people saying that they were pregnant, and the next minute they're not pregnant. So is it that? Is it these hybrids children that's going on? And that's why their eyes are black. And the eyes can be black because they only come out at night, and therefore being color usually mean they can see better in the dark.
Well, I've just come across this story that someone was talking about having an encounter with a black-eyed child, but never did anything about it. They highlighted it as Midnight Caller, and she described the child's eyes being not like specifically just black. It was like dark purple or midnight blue, just a solid color. So, and she went on to say that if you don't, she basically felt threatened by this child because at first the child was polite, being kind. Can I borrow your phone? Can I call so and so? My mother is worried. And then when she stepped back from her door, the child became more hostile and started demanding to go have the phone. And her dog, she said that she's got a German Shepherd dog that whimpered to her ankles after he saw the child outside the door.
And yeah, I mean, German Shepherds are no small dogs. They're really good. I mean, that's why most police forces use them as canine units.
Yeah.
But
and the child.
Go ahead.
The adult was 21 years old, and the child looked 16 or 17. She was slender and pale. Her hair was a light shade of honey blonde, and she wore it long, about mid-back. So it was like she never had it held back or anything. With long, thin, blunt bangs in the front that covered most of her eyes. She wore jeans, a light wash that's popular right now, like a light wash jeans.
Mm-hmm.
A thin-looking olive-colored pullover-style hoodie She held the hand of a small girl who looked to be around 3 or 4, in the same style jeans and button-down ivory cardigan. So they were both looking pretty much like almost to the floor, but up at the same time, trying to cover their face.
Right, and that that the 3 or 4, that's the youngest I've heard them looking.
Yeah.
So, but the different color pupil and whatnot, who knows? It could be that area or the light hit it just right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Another
yeah,
question
that's right.
is then.
Because sometimes the purple can look black.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Another question is then, can these black-eyed children look like a child that you would know? Or do they take their own form?
Wouldn't that be? I mean, that would bring on a whole new look on it, because if they can take on a look of a child or something, you'd be that much more susceptible.
In like to letting that person in, right?
Right. So who knows? Maybe in the
Right.
maybe
Mhm.
stories that we've heard or that we haven't heard of these black-eyed children, are they take the form of a child or someone that these people know, and that's why we don't have they just disappeared or whatever. But I mean, it's like that would put a whole new perspective on it and make it that much harder for us as paranormal investigators to investigate these claims.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. So that'd be interesting. I wonder if there has been encounters with this, whether it's been something that has, for those people, it's been someone they recognize, dead or alive, in that matter, and just haven't really reported it. Thinking, I'm not going to report that. I sound crazy, so you don't report it. I find it amazing that since 2021, I haven't been able to find anything. So did this just stop? Is it just on a hiatus right now, and it's just going to pick up again? Has this anything to do with, the Men in Black kind of thing? People of having these encounters, and then there's like this people too afraid to say anything. And going back on what Lee was saying on that, it sounded like Nordic aliens with the long blonde hair,
Right.
because they tend to have black eyes too. They vary in ages, and that can go back even longer, from 1980s going back to like 1950s.
Right.
So is it that, like I said, is it a type of hybrid alien like Nordic, because of the long blonde hair, or some have been reported, I guess, with black hair. So it's not specific in color of hair, or is it a different form, a different form altogether, until the person sees them and it takes that image, like a skinwalker kind of thing, where it changes shape.
Right. That one guy, Jay, says yes. Like he's like, I think he's agreeing with you there, Steven. So, I guess going back on it, we should probably, for those that don't know the whole Bethel story, I have most of it right here. And I'll start, we'll start with it, as I was saying, Brian Bethel was one of the first people to document having met black-eyed children in real life. He said his encounter was around 9:30 p.m. on January 16th, 1998. And Brian left his apartment to pay his internet bill. He had stopped at the Dollar movie theater on the way home to use the glow from the marquee as a light to make out his check, and as he did this, there was a knock on the window. He looked up to find two young boys staring at him with blank expressions. They looked between 10 and 14. The first boy was slightly taller than his companion, wearing pullover hooded shirt with a sort of gray checkered pattern and jeans. He couldn't see the shoes. His skin was olive colored, and he had curly, medium-length brown hair. He exuded an air of quiet confidence. So he seemed like, this kid was confident and knew what he was doing. The second boy had pale skin with a trace of freckles. His primary characteristic seemed to be looking around nervously. He was dressed in similar manner to his companion, but his pullover was light green. His hair was a sort of pale orange. It goes to say that Brian almost immediately felt a sense of fear. The first boy began to explain that they needed help because they wanted to see the new Mortal Kombat movie, but had forgot their money. The boy asked for a lift to their house to retrieve it, saying things like, "Come on, mister. We just want to go to our house, and we're just two little boys. Come on, mister, let us in. We can't get in your car until just let us in. And we'll be gone before you know it. We'll go to our mother's house." Brian had then found himself unlocking the door without even realizing what he was doing. He felt as if his body and mind were being instructed by the child to do so. He stopped himself quickly and looked at the children again. That's when he realized that the kid's eyes were solid black, no sclera, no iris, no pupil. After the kids knew Brian had seen their true color, the first boy threatened him, saying, "We won't hurt you. You have to let us in. We don't have a gun." According to Bethel, the boy was implying that they didn't need guns. He started pulling at the door and demanding to be let in. Bethel pushed the car into reverse and sped home, leaving the boys where he found them. So that's the original Brian Bethel story. That's how it came to the United States. And going on some of these others, like Lee saying that the one story he just read where you think that the Nordic aliens there, maybe they vary depending on demographic and whatnot. Like a territorial thing. We've talked about the Greys before. What kind of extraterrestrials would these be? That's the thing. Like, I think we're all on the same page in saying there's some form of extraterrestrial or hybrid, perhaps even interdimensional beings. But what I guess the question is, what are they after? And that's the thing. Like, that's the thing I asked there with are they here for that larger extraterrestrial, outer-worldly agendas?
Mm-hmm. It's like why would they go be knocking on a door or going to a car? What is the intent behind it? If these things are real, what is the actual intent behind it? Why would they be doing it?
Well, we don't really know, do we? Because we don't know what happens if anyone lets them in.
Right. It's like their eyes are the abyss. And I think that's what scares people. It's just like that Black Mirror, scrying mirror. It's just all black. But when you stare into it, you see images, that type of thing. So if the eyes acting as that type of Black Mirror thing going on, you're not seeing your reflection, but their eyes are like the abyss. Is that the fear? Is it going to be? Are they in this purgatory kind of area? Were they real things? Are they extraterrestrial things? They're just there. They're just these entities that appear I think the showing of the black eyes is more of that abyss thing.
Mm-hmm.
You're in complete darkness. If you're in, especially if you're going like ghost hunting, you're in a. It's all black. It's completely black. You know, it's completely black. But then there's blacker than black.
And we've
So
all
you could be in a room and yeah.
We've all experienced that. I mean, we're paranormal investigators. We've been in a pitch black room, and we've seen that stuff moving in pitch black. So, you know, it goes
Right.
to, you know, being a paranormal investigator, you know, these are the things we look at. The black, you can tell when something's darker than it's supposed to be. It's also,
Right.
you know, that feeling that you get and that said to, you know, emanate off of these beings is fear. There are other things like that happen, like Bigfoots, for example. They've been said to emit that fear, that olfactory smell of stinking, and, you know, that confusingness. Am I saying that the black-eyed children are connected to Bigfoot and stuff like that? No. What I'm saying is they share characteristics with other things. So it's hard to say. And like you said, could these stories have stopped because the Men in Black have stepped in and be like, hey, stop it. You know, we're not going to talk about that anymore. Or is it just because these hybrids or these extraterrestrial beings or whatever they are have taken a break from whatever they're doing to try to lose spotlight, I guess I want to say.
Yeah, it seems 2021 was the latest one that I could find of. I didn't find anything newer to that. That's the most recent one. But it's oddly at the time that everything was starting to come out about UFOs. And all that started becoming more prominent. So did it just take over that whole new meaning? You know, it's taken a back seat because all this other stuff. Or is this still going on? We're just not hearing it now. That people are afraid to come forward. You know, there's plenty of people out there who are into, you know, UFOs and aliens and conspiracies with, you know, Men in Black and being followed everywhere. So is it that type of intimidation?
So,
you know, it could be.
So to everybody that's watching or is going to be listening here in the future, because Stephen is recording it and it will be on our website, which is paranormalhive.live. I'll type that in my Twitch chat now, so you guys can go check it out if you want. I also have it down in my panels down below, but it will be posted there. And if you have encounters or you've known someone to have an encounter with the black-eyed children, start a forum post on it on our website. You know, we definitely want to hear stories and all that. You know, there's other things on there too, but I think we'll end up making a post for black-eyed children, and when Steven posts the podcast on there, he'll probably do something along the lines of, hey, here, comment here and all that. But you know, we've talked about quite a bit, you know, in 40 minutes. Are there any questions from chat, or do you guys have anything else you want to add to the whole thing?
Jay says,
yeah,
what if black-eyed children are baby aliens?
See,
could be.
and
Are they? Is it the Greys?
It's not a bad theory. You know, you hear of all these abductions, and you know, like you said, they're pregnant and then they're not. Could these pregnant abductees be the parents to these black-eyed children? You know, it's a good theory. It's not a bad theory, and it could be possible.
Yeah. So it'd be interesting. I haven't really looked too much into the Conic Chase one. Lee Brickley, I did speak to him once actually. I actually bought one of his books, so I'd buy his Conic Chase and just read that, see what he has written in his book. I've got his. I got one of his books here, and that's to do with the poltergeist in Birmingham, which happened a few years ago, I believe. But I should get his book and have a read and see what he's written in there, and what he found out about Conic Chase.
So I mean, and we aren't sure what I think Stephen might have an idea for our next topic, but we're not going to introduce it yet because we don't want to start talking about it yet. But we're going to be doing this every what day is it? Today's Thursday, right? Today's Wednesday, Thursday.
Yes.
Thursday.
Thursday. Thursday. Yep.
So every Thursday we'll have this stream. Who knows? We might even have special guests down the line of us interviewing someone. We don't know. We do have connections, kinda, and we are good with some paranormal investigators. But down the line, we'll be doing this every Thursday for a while, and then it'll also be posted probably in the next couple of days on our website. But my ending thing on the whole Black-Eyed Children is, do I believe that they exist? Yes. Do I believe that they're, it's hard to say what I believe because, I don't want to offend somebody, obviously, but them being hybrid extraterrestrial or even interdimensional beings is probably highly likely. That's why you don't see very many anymore. A lot of it could be, like Steven said, because the UFO stuff happened, or is it because the Men in Black stepped in and was like, guys, stop. But I mean, what about your ending thoughts on that, Steven?
So I think maybe that these are some type of entity, whether it's interdimensional kind of thing going on. I'm wondering if they show them, say for instance, they are like a hybrid, right? So women have been abducted, they've been pregnant, and then they're not, type of thing. Are these abductees? Is it the abductees that are going to be seeing these people, these Black-Eyed Children? And if so, would it be their children? No.
That gets if that's the case,
the parent.
Right? If that's the case, then I guess we'd have to look into the Black-Eyed Children encounters and cross-check names, because these abductees, they come forward pretty regularly. But
right,
it's definitely an interesting.
And so are these people being abducted and then either being impregnated, or there's obviously females are being impregnated, male get too. So are they extracting sperm? Are they implanted that, changing DNA, getting the females pregnant, then going back, abducting them? And are these abductees having these encounters with these Black-Eyed Children?
That's a good,
are they coming back? So is it could it be their children? It could be completely different. May not even be that. Just this entity, but why would they just show up?
Right.
They just be appearing to certain people. Are these people just seeing them? Are other people with that person seeing them too? It's like, is it just like is one person seeing these? Is it just like a ghost? Like one person can see it and the other person can't? That type of thing.
And what about you, Lee?
What do you think, Lee?
Yeah, your ending thoughts before we open it to more questions.
What I'm trying to understand is why wouldn't anyone walk outside? I know they're scared, right? They got this uneasy feeling, so they don't want to get anywhere close to these kids. But what if you just walk towards them yourself?
I mean, that's the thing. I don't think I've ever heard of a story where someone has, or if they do, are those one of those stories that we haven't heard because something happened to the person who approached them?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I was reading, I'm here and seeing more stories of people seeing two together rather than just the one.
Right.
It's usually like one's older than the other.
Yep. I think I lost.
Did we lose Lee's mic?
Yeah, I lost Lee's audio. I think his headset might have died. No, can't
Did
hear
the headset die?
Technical difficulties there, chat.
Exactly.
So,
he might be getting someone else.
Yeah, let's open more questions. If you guys have a question about the paranormal or what we talked about tonight, feel free to ask in chat, and we will answer to the best of our knowledge or ability.
Yeah.
Stephen and I have been investigating together now for 15 years or so, right?
About 12 years, I think. Yeah, because I've been over here like 13 years now.
Yeah, it's about 12 years, but
nearly 14 years.
Yeah, so 14 years,
so, yeah.
Steve and I have been investigating together, and between the two of us, we have over 30 years of experience in investigating, and we've both seen some pretty interesting stuff. One thing I want to do at some point is maybe try to get Greg in here with us about his property. That'd be a good topic for one night.
I'm back.
That's some interesting stuff. Hello.
we lost you halfway through your
headset idly there.
Yeah, where did you last year?
Where did we let? We don't know.
Oh.
Just like that.
All right. I'll just leave it at this.
No,
if I see a child outside wanting to come in, I'm gonna see what happens. And if I live to tell the tale, then we know. All right.
I actually think your view has changed quite a bit from when we did the Paranormal Express one, because I think.
Yeah, well, we need answers, don't we?
Well,
so I risk my life for it. All right.
And being parents now, we get that. So if a kid's in danger, our first instinct is to jump in and help now.
Yeah.
Whereas, back then, I think Lee's first instinct was, I'm going to punch the thing in the face, is I think exactly his words. I think it was his words. I think he said, I'm going to punch it in the face.
Probably.
I mean, I probably will still. I might still do it. If that child tries coming at me, I'm going to do something about it.
So, we don't condone
if its eyes start turning black.
Kick it in the face. Get out of here.
Hey, it might be transparent. You'll fall on your own ass. Who knows?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Why not just walk up to them? What are they gonna do?
The worst they could do is kill you.
No?
Yeah, well, we don't know. That's the
Right.
thing. No one's gonna let them
Maybe-
in their house, are they?
They may make they may make you disappear.
Oh yeah,
So,
Where?
like I said, let's open up
to their
Abduct
ship.
you.
any other questions
To their ship.
at all.
Take me to your leader. I don't got no questions.
Yeah, I see if chat has any. We don't. So if you're here and you're new, and we're paranormal investigators. We've all been doing this for years. Like I said, Steven and I have been investigating together for about 12, 13 years. Lee joined us soon after that. So I mean, we've been investigating together for a while, and we don't judge people based on their experiences or their stories. We're the kind of people that will sit down and before an investigation, when we do our interview process with these people, we sit down and we listen to what they have to say. So
Then we judge it. Nah, joker, we don't do that.
Huh?
No, we watch
It was live.
Waiting for someone.
Next time, I'll make sure my headphones are charged. Right? So it doesn't happen again.
So
I don't fuss
guess-
around with those wired ones. Cats keep chewing them up.
Yeah, that's why.
The wired ones, yeah.
Yeah, I put all my headphones up, but I have. So I'm not even using this mic here. That's just off to the side. I'm using a headset. I have this mic right here.
Fancy pants.
Yeah, I know, right? But let's. I guess, Steven, did you have the next topic picked out, and we can introduce it so people can do some research if they wanted to before we started talking about it?
I haven't, to be honest with you, because I was thinking about it today. And could we get all... Trying to think of the best way of going from this to the next subject without it really being too far off.
I mean, if we wanted to do
So-
it that way, what we could do after this one is the Star Children.
Yeah, we can do that one.
I know nothing of this Star Children thing. What is this?
That's something we have to do research on and talk about next time.
Alright, I'm gonna pretend I know.
Yes.
Oh, Star Children. Awesome, okay.
So, our next topic, chat, will be part of the ancient alien theory under the Star Children and what they're all about.
Yeah.
I hope everybody liked how we did this. This is our first episode. Who knows? We might add more stuff in. The setup looks somewhat professional. I think it looks nice and works well. But definitely head on over to paranormalhive.live. We have a merch shop there. You can buy some stuff. I think Steven designed most of that stuff on there. If not him, Byron. It was you though, I think, right?
Yeah, there's Byron did one of them. I haven't really designed any of those ones on that. I bought them. So they are for commercial use, so that's just the reason why I put them on there. But I have been thinking of some other designs that I can do and put up as well. So see how it goes. I did actually get on there. I think it was today. And it said a lot of things are sold out, but what I think it is that not the items are sold out, meaning from the actual warehouse, not from the actual that they were bought on the site, and that's how they sold out. But I think that like the materials were sold out.
So definitely, if you haven't yet, head on over to paranormalhive.live, shoot us a follow, sign up for it. It's free. All of our services, we don't charge anything for any of our services. So if you're in the New York or Connecticut area and you need an investigation done, there's a way to contact us on there. That being said, I think we're in a good spot to end tonight, and we'll start back up next week on Thursday, 9 o'clock EST.